I'm going to now turn it over to John Richmond, who will run this program, and we wanted to give him 45 minutes. You have 43 minutes, so I'm very happy that we're on time. Without further ado, here's John.
Thank you. Thank you. I think you can see our students on the screen behind me. This should be a very fun program. This is the second time that we did it. We did it once before in February of 2021 during COVID. So, but I'm excited about this one. 4 of the 5 participants are new to this. Elsa Hellsten is an old timer, so to speak, but this is going to be a good program in which we reconnect with some of our past best students and hear what they're up to these days. The way I'm going to do it is there's 2 basic questions that each will ask one at a time. We'll go to the first question and each will answer. We'll start with Elsa and then go to Alex and then Fredrik and Maisy and Clarissa. And then we'll do question number 2 and then we'll open it up for questions from the audience. I will let this speaker introduce themselves, but the first question is, what are your main recollections and reflections of your GRSP year when you were here? So Elsa, would you please start?
Yes. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. So I'm the old timer of the group, and I was in Dalton 10 years ago now. It's quite hard to believe that time flies so quickly, but yeah, I was sponsored by the Dalton Club, and my host family was John and Agnes Richmond, and they're then teenage kids, mostly grown up by now. And I actually have some pictures that I want to share with you from my year. So let's see if I can pull that up real quick. Are you able to see this slide that I'm sharing?
Yes.
Perfect. So these are some pictures from 2013 and 2014. This here is from my very first Dalton State volleyball game. This was my roommate, Crystal, who was also a GRSP student, and we came very close to each other. I actually consider her one of my best friends to this day. And then, of course, my lovely host family. Mason is missing, but you're in my heart, Mason. I didn't forget you. I think about you a lot. Yes, I'm glad to hear. Here are some of the other GRSP students, and here's another GRSP guy called Fredrik, who I actually I'm still together with since 10 years. So that's one of the things that I got from the program too, that I hadn't planned on from the beginning. So then John asked me to elaborate a bit on what impressed me the most about the year. And one of the things that I thought about was how well organized this program is, and how quickly I felt at home in my new environment in Georgia, and how well you welcomed me into your lives. I'm super impressed by the dedication and the hospitality that the Rotarians put into this program to create an awesome time for the students that are coming to visit. I learned that you Southerners are really, truly very hospitable people, and that when you invite for dinner, you actually want us to come, or you expect us to come, and it's not just something that you say to be polite. The other question was some of the best memories of the, yes, still question number 1, but still part of the first question. So some of the best memories from the year was, to me, the spirit at the basketball and the volleyball games at Dalton State. And I say that not even liking sports at all, but just feeling the spirit of the school and the other students was really amazing. And then, of course, the weekend trips with the other GRSPs, which were always super well organized, and we got to see a lot of Georgia and meet other Rotarians along the way. And then the last thing that I want to mention is that I really had some truly nice experiences with my host family, and they took me into their home, and I got to take part in their traditions. So for Christmas, for example, I tried John's famous peas, and I taught my host family to say Merry Christmas in Swedish, God Jul, which I think is one of the phrases that John and Agnes still are able to say in Swedish. So I really had a fantastic match with my host family, and having a host family just became so normal. So I remember one time I was talking to one of my fellow friends at the college, and I asked her when her host dad was picking her up, thinking that everybody has a host dad, which is of course not the case for most people. So yeah, I really had an amazing time, and I think a lot about GRSP to this day, even 10 years later. So thanks a lot.
Thank you, Elsa. Next is Alexandra Olsson.
Yes. Hi, everyone, and great to see you again. I actually had the opportunity to visit you this summer, but it's great to see you all again. I'm actually an even older student than Elsa, because I had the opportunity to be a GRSP student in Dalton 12 years ago in August, so the year 2011, 2012. And my host family was Mel and Gretchen Abernathy. And it was a great year that really changed my life. I think for me it was very special because I had just graduated high school, but I had also, unfortunately, my father had passed away not very long before I went to the US. So coming here, it was such a blessing to get such a great host family as Mel and Gretchen, who really took care of me as their own daughter and really brought me in to the family. But also really supported myself and Catherine, my roommate from Germany, to be able to explore and also have the college life as we were staying at the college. And then, of course, we had all of the support from all the members of the club, who were always very helpful and always offered to help us when we wanted to do something, everything from going to Atlanta or visiting some friends at another college. You were always very, very kind and offered us to help us or drive us wherever we needed. Which is something that I'm very, very thankful for, because I don't think that we would have been able to experience as much as we did without your support. But if we go to the question, what impressed you most while you were here, and what are your best memories of the year? I think what impressed me the most, like I had been to the US one time before I came to Georgia, and of course I was very impressed by the culture, and also from being from a small town, I was very impressed by how big the US is, and I really learned that traveling by car for 3 hours is quite a short distance, while for me that was quite long. But then, of course, my best memories is really it's everything from the weekly dinners that we had with the Abernathys, where you could just feel a bit like being home again and being part of the family. to all the travels that we did, that we got to experience Georgia from south to north, from east to west, and that you really, all of you, brought us to different activities so that we could explore as much as possible, including baseball games and the football games and all of that. So yeah, it was a wonderful year and something I still bring with me today.
Thank you, Alex. Next is Fredrik Mazur. Fredrik?
Yeah, I'm just gonna share my screen real quick as well. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. So yes, hi, I'm Fredrik Mazur. It's been a while now. We talked about it in the group now for students, and I think I was the most recent GRSP, but it was 6 years ago. I came back now, so that still feels kind of unbelievable. And I was sponsored by the Dalton Club and had Larry and Connie Winter as a host family. And also John Richmond was the trustee for the GRSP. And Bill, I don't remember your title, Bill, but you had some GRSP involvement as well. So you both helped me a lot as well. And yeah, it really was an unbelievable year. And I keep thinking back about it quite some time as well, because it's very strange, because I've heard about now both Elsa and Alexandra mentioned it as well, but like the Southern hospitality and all about that. And one thing is to hear about it, but then you actually come there, and I don't know if people have been to Sweden, but we're not like known to be the most open, like friendly people in public, and you never talk to strangers. But then coming to Georgia, where everyone helped you, everyone drove you around. I remember Torin and I, Torin, who was the other GRSP student in Dalton at the time, we got Bill helped us to drive us to Atlanta just like that, and that took 2 hours each direction, but that was no problem. That's just how we are against people. So regarding what impressed me the most, I think it was definitely that, just like how you can greet someone with open arms the way you did, and the way you do. It was just Larry and Connie as well. From day one, I was just a part of the family, it felt like. And we had every Sunday, I went with them and we had this awesome family day. So that was great. And regarding the best memories, I had to think a little bit, and that's why I had these two images. The one to the left is from a Georgia game, UJ, but this is actually in Atlanta in the Mercedes-Benz Arena. And being a sport maniac as I am, it was really cool to get to experience American football, or football as you call it, uh, and all, especially like the university ones. But besides that, I would also say just all the GRSP students you got to meet. Here to the right is Torin and I, and we went on some trips during December. And then we were in Philadelphia and just saw that two other GRSP students, Eloise and Lydia, were there as well. And that was no problems. We just caught up with them, and then we could go sightseeing with them. So that was, yeah, really, really amazing. So that's it for me.
Thank you, Fredrik. Now we'd like to hear from Maisy Murphy.
Hi there, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good. So I'm Maisy Murphy. I'm from Scotland, and I was the GRSP student in 2015 to 2016 alongside Clarissa. So I was actually sponsored by the Morning Club and a few other clubs, but I was very lucky in that situation because I feel like I ended up with a lot of host families. So Jackie Killings and Amy Grammer were both my kind of main host families, but Mel and Gretchen Abernathy also they adopted me as well, really. I would say, and I know it's kind of already been mentioned quite a lot, but definitely what impressed me was the hospitality, the generosity, and just the general welcoming friendly kind of environment everywhere we went in Georgia, from when we turned up at all the different Rotary clubs, to college, to every weekend meeting different families and Rotarians all around Georgia. It was just an incredible experience to feel so welcome everywhere you were. I think especially at Christmas and birthdays, time of the year when you're usually with your family, it didn't feel like you were away from your family at all, to have all these people who genuinely just welcomed you and were so caring. It was just absolutely amazing. I would say my favourite memories, similar to as the other students have already said, was the opportunity to travel with other GRSP students. The student weekends are fantastic opportunities to meet each other properly and really get to know each other and kind of share, what are you doing at your college, what are you doing over there, and it was just a really great experience for us all to bond, and I feel like we became really close. So that was just a great memory for me, especially outside of the weekends when we got to explore a little bit further than Georgia. I know for myself and Clarissa, we both did a trip of sort of the West Coast at the end before we came home, and we saw LA and Seattle and the Grand Canyon, and that is just something that I hadn't kind of, I suppose, considered would be something maybe I could or would do. So it was just full of fantastic opportunities of meeting amazing people and seeing really amazing places.
Thank you, Maisy. Clarissa?
Yes, happy to take over. So good to see you all. It has been a long time, but at the same time, it feels like yesterday to have been there in the same room with you. Really having incredible memories and flashbacks right now. Would love to zip on your black tea to also have the flavor of Georgia with me at the moment. But really great to see you again and to have this opportunity talking to you. So yeah, as Maisy already mentioned, we were there together in Georgia around 2015 and 16. I was actually sponsored by the Noon Club by you, and went to Dalton State College with Maisy together. And I was lucky enough to have Mel and Gretchen Abernathy as my host family as well, which has been an incredible experience. And three things I still remember, which really made the year special to me, was as well the host family experience, the Rotary community that supported us throughout the year, and the GRSP friends that I still have, and that I honor deal, or that I very much see still and honor dearly. So regarding the host family experience, I had a great time with Mel and Gretchen, with the three brothers I had at that time. I still remember all the great holidays we celebrated together. My first Thanksgiving with you. We spent many wonderful weekends at the lake in Tennessee, which I still remember and which were so great. Regarding the Rotary community that supported us, one anecdote I want to share with you is I still remember Maisy and I wanting to plan a trip to Asheville, to see Asheville, and we just wrote the local Rotary club there, and there was a lady nice enough to host us for the whole weekend. She took us in as if we were family, and it was just such a wonderful experience how Rotary supported us in making this year so special. And regarding the GRSP friends I made, of course, I shared a room with Maisy for a year, and we are still in touch. I came to visit her in Scotland. She still owes me a visit to Berlin, but we're planning that. And yeah, all the other people I met during the year, it's just incredible. Yeah, the inspiring people you meet, and I'm very happy that we are all still in touch, visiting each other back and forth. So yeah, these are some of the memories I wanted to share, and thank you so much again for making this possible in 2015-16. It really changed my life.
Thank you all. Now let's do our last question to tell us about your life now and what you're up to. And does GRSP still have any influence in your life now? Start with Elsa.
Yes, so now I'm 28. And when I came back from Georgia, I started my degree in chemical engineering in Gothenburg, Sweden. After that, I went to Germany for 6 months because I wanted to go abroad again after coming home from Georgia, where I did an internship and I also learned German. Then I moved back to Sweden and I got my master's degree in Denmark, actually. So I've moved again, both because there was a great program in Denmark, but mostly because of this Georgia guy or GRSP guy that I met during my year. I'm sharing my screen again now. I hope you can see it. So this is me now. I live with Fredrik, and we just bought our own apartment. So we're feeling very adult. I started working at Novo Nordisk, which is one of the main pharmaceutical companies in Denmark, where I work with pharmaceutical packaging development as a project manager and also working with the materials and production support and so on. And being at Dalton State actually really helped me form what I wanted to do later. So at Dalton State, I tried things like history and American government and other classes, which were super nice, but I realized that that's not what I wanted to do later on. So I realized that the chemistry and maths and engineering was right for me. So I've had the opportunity to also meet my host family several times since I came back. Here in the bottom middle is a picture of John and Agnes visiting Sweden in 2016. And then to the bottom right is John and I in Paris, where Agnes and John also got the chance to meet my other parents, my biological parents. Yeah, so I've really done a lot since I came back. So time has really flown, but having been a GRSP student has really impacted a lot of my choices and what I've decided to do since I've come back. So yeah, one of the main things that has impacted me is how to feel at home in new environments. So having lived in Germany and now being a permanent resident in Denmark, having learned Danish, GRSP really helped me to learn to feel at home wherever I go. And I've also learned to get along with people from different cultures, different countries, with different beliefs. And that's actually one of my main strengths as I see it professionally, that I'm good at cooperating with people from different places. And I have GRSP to thank for that. GRSP has also helped me to have a positive attitude towards life and towards new tasks and new places. And it helped me to realize that it will be, people are nice, people are want to help you, and like Fredrik said, in Sweden we're much more close-minded and we don't really care too much about each other on the street. So it's a bit of a happy awakening to come to Georgia. The last thing that I want to mention is that I still have really good lifelong friendships from my year in Dalton. So the other week, actually, Kate from Scotland came to Copenhagen to visit, and she was there for a work trip, and she just wrote me the day before, "Hey, do you want to grab a beer?" And I said, "Yes, let's do it." And I've had so many such opportunities where you have a friend wherever you go, in many places in Europe and Asia, and I've been to Malaysia to visit Crystal. So that's really one of the main impacts on me. And then the very last question was, what is my favorite Georgia food that I miss? And there I have to say that it's the fries from Steak and Shake, the really thin, long ones. I really miss those a lot.
Thank you, thank you. Alex?
Yes, sorry, I lost sound a bit. Yes, so today, 12 years later, I'm 30 years old, and I live in Stockholm since 3 years back. And today I live with my boyfriend since 4 years back in an apartment here in Stockholm. So after GRSP, I went back to Sweden and started the university at the Stockholm School of Economics. And I took a degree, a bachelor and a master's degree in accounting and finance. And during my studies, I decided that I had been in the eastern part of the world, so I wanted to try the western part. Sorry, the opposite, and went to Singapore for an exchange for 6 months, which was incredible to, as Elsa said, to be abroad again and to explore new cultures and so on. And then after I graduated, I actually started working at an American investment bank, Goldman Sachs, in London. And was there for a year, where I also met my boyfriend. However, he's Swedish, but we met there. And lived in London for a year. And then now, since 3 years back, I'm back in Stockholm, where I work for a private equity firm called EQT, where I focus on investments in infrastructure across Europe. And yes, I must say my GRSP year, of course, have had a huge impact and still has a huge impact in my life. I think for me, when I was at the college, I got the opportunity to try very different classes, and where I also kind of landed that I wanted to do what I wanted to pursue a career within business. And it also, of course, now as I've worked with mostly have done my career at international firms, of course, it's been also very helpful to have spent that year and really learn English properly. Because I must say, when I came to Georgia, of course, I was good at English, but I was not super confident. So when I came back, I had this southern accent that I have lost now, unfortunately. But that was, and then of course also my relationship with Mel and Gretchen. It took us some years to be able to meet, but it was just wonderful to be back at their place, both in Dalton but also in Tennessee this summer. Because again, I really see them as my second family, and it was just so incredible to meet again. And it was almost like no time has passed, even if a lot of things have happened, because when I was 12 years ago, I was very young and had not experienced so much, while when I came back now, I was, of course, a lot has happened. But yeah, and then of course I still have many friends also from my GRSP years. Especially 2 of them, we are very, very close friends, and we had dinner just a couple of weeks ago and kind of discussed some of our fun memories from our GRSP year, which is also incredible. And I'm going to one of their wedding this year, which is also great. And to my favorite Georgia food. So I have a very sweet tooth. So my absolute favorite when I was in Georgia was to go to Dairy Queen. So I was very happy to be back this summer to be able to eat it again. And then I like fried food. So I would not say no to some fried chicken either. So yeah, that was a bit about me.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Yes. So yes. So it's been 6 years, as I said, and I'm 25 now. And during my year at Dalton State, I really took the opportunity to pick classes that I was interested in and thought, okay, I might not study more of this, but this is an opportunity just to study kind of whatever I'm interested in. So I took a lot of American history and actually sports history as well was my favorite course. But then some yeah, different also psychology and so forth. But when I came back, I kind of did a 180 and started mechanical engineering at Royal Institute of Technology in Stockholm. And it was, I now say it was a lot thanks to my brother. I really thought that it wasn't something for me, but it was a very broad engineering programs. I could pick a lot of different masters. But after a couple of years, I realized that even the nerdy, very technological stuff is a lot of fun. So I continued with a master's degree in mechatronics, it's called, which basically is a mix of electrical engineering, programming, and mechanical engineering. So yeah, I've been in Stockholm for 5 years then and studied, and I graduated last summer. So it's all very new to me now with adult life. But last fall, I started working as a development engineer, it's called. But more or less, I'm a programmer or software developer at Scania, which is a huge Swedish truck and bus manufacturer and company. So what I do there is that I work in within R&D for autonomous trucks. So I'm at the department or a small group which works with the logging system, it's called. So when you have trucks that drive by themselves, they have a lot of cameras and radars and lidars and everything. And this data you want to gather and collect to a hard drive. So my job there is to write software which which helps this system function, and basically so we can collect and reuse the data for better optimized systems. And I feel like the GRSP or my Georgia GRSP year was very helpful in a lot of ways I maybe wouldn't predict back then. I haven't really, except for vacation, been abroad from Sweden and from Stockholm. But even though during my master's degrees there were so many people from different countries, and now when I work here at Scania, we are a team of 10 developers, but 7 of them are from different countries, from India, Ukraine, Spain, Israel. So just the experience to like, I don't know, already having that and further down, like get the interest of different cultures and so on, I find really, really interesting because yeah, it's so much fun to at work. We can discuss different cultures, different food and so on. I feel I have a good experience of that and I already have a great base from my year in Georgia. And for the food, it's a really, really weird one, actually. I'm not a breakfast person at all, but I saw a movie a couple of days ago where they ate grits, and I was just like hooked. I was like, this is what I miss the most right now. Some grits with salt and pepper and some butter in it. Yeah, so actually, I need to come back to Georgia soon so I can have a proper breakfast. And yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. Maisy.
Hi, so I am now 25 as well. I was just 18 when I first came to Georgia on the GRSP programme. When I got home from Georgia, I moved to Dundee, another city in Scotland, and I completed my degree in anatomy or anatomical sciences at Dundee. I graduated just in 2020, so just when COVID was hitting and we were all moving home for lockdown. But that gave me some time to kind of reflect on my degree and decide what I wanted to do. And I decided to pursue a career in teaching. So I'm just in my final year now to be a biology and science teacher to high school pupils. So I currently have a job at a high school in Glasgow. So I live in an apartment in Glasgow with my boyfriend Ross. After this year, it's kind of all opened up again and I'll be a fully qualified teacher. So I'm hoping to apply to some jobs, hopefully somewhere abroad again. I would love to kind of have that experience of going and living somewhere new again. And I think that's the great thing that the GRSP programme gave me, is the confidence and I suppose the bravery now to be able to kind of know that I can go and live somewhere and enjoy new experiences. And that certainly helped me a lot through university and other opportunities that came up after, kind of having that confidence to know that I can do it. I also, as everyone has said, just made amazing friends for life through the GRSP programme. So obviously Clarissa and I shared a room, so we became very, very close and we still are. I've been lucky enough to visit Clarissa in her hometown and also a few places in Germany, and she's come over and visited me in Edinburgh, so where my family live. And like she said, we're arranging another trip hopefully for this year. I'd love to go over to Berlin and see where she's living now. Thinking about food is quite a hard question. I feel like all of the food from Thanksgiving, from Christmas was all just amazing. One thing I really do remember is when Clarissa and I went to Waffle House for the first time and got a huge plate of like chocolate waffles. And I think I could probably do with having that again soon.
Thank you, Maisy.
That sounds pretty good, Maisy. We should do that. Okay, so I'm 26 now, living in Berlin, working as a business consultant at McKinsey. And I think there are two things that really impacted my life, but actually not only my life, but also the life of people around me that I took away from GRSP. So the first thing is my rough plan before going to Georgia was to study close to my hometown in Germany. But after returning to Germany, I was like, no, this is too boring. I have to do something else. So I actually decided to go abroad again, and I started my bachelor's degree in the Netherlands and stayed there for my master's. I also decided to take another opportunity to live abroad. I lived and worked in Argentina for half a year, which was quite an amazing experience, which I also, I guess, did because I had the bravery of going to another country after this wonderful experience in the US. And yeah, this took me where I am today, basically. And the other thing I would like to highlight is that, it didn't only impacted my life, but I also have two younger sisters. And I think my great experience also gave them the bravery to look outside of the box, go out of their comfort zone. And my younger sister, Annemarie, has actually been with the GRSP program in, I think, 2018-19. She was in Atlanta and she had a wonderful time as well. Visited Mel and Gretchen in Dalton, and I would say that I guess she got the idea because I had such a wonderful time. And my youngest sister, Leonie, she's 50 now, and she just applied for a summer exchange with GRSP, which I'm also really happy that she took the courage to send out that application. And so not only I took a lot away from this year, but it also really impacted my the people around me positively. And I'm very much looking forward to what's about to come in the next years, on how I can still see this GRSP experience impacting my life and the lives of the people around me. So yeah, thanks a lot, and back to you, John.
How about that? These are just 5 of the many students that we have had over the years since we began as a club participating in GRSP in 1949. And the program itself began in 46. All told, there's over 3,500 alumni students of the same quality and that you saw displayed on our program today. So we as a state and we as a club have made a significant impact on the world. And the whole purpose of this is to promote world peace by bringing young students in their formative years here to learn that the United States is not full of bad people. And then they go home and they learn that, and they go home and they carry that thought with them and infect others, so to speak. So it is an impactful program. It's impactful, as you've heard, to their own lives. And we are grateful for it. And I'm glad that we participate in such a wonderful program. I'll turn it over to Alex.
Yeah.
And thank you, all 5 of y'all students. I really appreciate the time that you took.